Why do voices rise in anger when beliefs are questioned? Why does faith so often harden into hostility when it encounters difference? If the God we serve holds the universe together, commands the stars, and exists beyond time itself, what exactly are we protecting him from? An idea? A question? Another human being's doubt? Perhaps the deeper question is not whether God needs defending, but whether our defensiveness reveals something about us. In recent years, we have seen faith invoked to justify violence, intimidation, and public outrage. Riots sparked by perceived insults to the sacred, attacks carried out in the name of defending God's honor, communities fractured, lives lost, and hatred amplified, all driven by the belief that the divine must be protected by human force. Across cultures and religions, this pattern repeats. When belief becomes identity, disagreement feels like an attack. When faith becomes fragile, aggression feels like faithfulness. Yet the tragic irony is this: the more aggressively people claim to defend God, the smaller and more threatened their God appears. The Bible consistently presents a God who is not fragile. Our God is in the heavens, he does all that he pleases. Psalm chapter 115 verse 3. In the book of Job, when questions and accusations swirl around God's justice, God does not ask a human to defend him. Instead, he speaks for himself. Where were you when I laid the foundation of the earth? Job chapter 38 verse 4. This is not a God in need of protection. This is a God who defines reality. Scripture never portrays God as dependent on human outrage, force, or argument to preserve his authority. Jesus, the clearest image of God in human form, never modeled defensive faith. When mocked, he remained silent. When falsely accused, he did not retaliate. When arrested, he stopped his followers from violence. Do you think I cannot call on my Father, and he will at once put at my disposal more than 12 legions of angels? Matthew chapter 26 verse 53. Jesus' restraint was not weakness. It was confidence, absolute confidence in divine authority. The most powerful being to walk the earth did not argue to prove who he was, he lived it. Rather than calling us to defend him, Scripture calls us to reflect him. The Lord's servant must not be quarrelsome but kind to everyone, correcting opponents with gentleness. 2 Timothy chapter 2 verses 24 to 25. Always be prepared to give an answer, but do this with gentleness and respect. 1 Peter chapter 3 verse 15. Confidence in God produces humility. Insecurity produces hostility. Sociology and psychology consistently observe a simple pattern. Groups that are confident in their identity do not react aggressively to challenge, groups that feel threatened do. When beliefs are deeply internalized rather than socially enforced, disagreement does not feel like danger. Studies on social identity show that defensiveness rises when a belief system becomes the primary source of personal worth or group belonging. In those moments, questioning ideas feels like attacking people. Conversely, individuals and communities with secure convictions demonstrate greater openness, patience, and restraint. Confidence produces calm. Insecurity produces noise. History reflects this as well. The most transformative movements, moral, spiritual, and social, spread not through coercion, outrage, or force, but through consistency, sacrifice, and credibility. Truth that is secure does not shout to survive. An omnipotent God does not need angry defenders. He does not need violence to preserve his honor. He does not need fear-driven arguments to sustain his truth. What he calls for is witness, not warfare. Presence, not panic. Love, not outrage. An insecure faith argues. A confident faith bears witness. And if God truly holds all power, then perhaps the strongest testimony we can offer is not our defense of him, but our quiet, unwavering trust that he never needed in the first place.